Yes.
Bad boy was way over there. That bad boy was over there.
Perfect for me.
I can't even tell, is there somebody else missed?
Yeah, we have right there.
As of the name.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, I contacted one of my colleagues via email and sent him an application. We'll see if he fills it out, sends it off.
Mr. Dan, would you get your
I
mic?
called Jane.
Turn my mic on.
Yes.
Testing.
That's on. How are you tonight?
Hello.
Do I have a switch to turn that
See this here? Because they're like a forehead. And you're straight up.
We still read your lips.
Yeah.
on? 1 minute. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the January 5 regular meeting of the Planning and Zoning Board. All rise.
Let's bow our heads, please. Our dear Heavenly Father, thank you for the blessings you have given us. We ask that you guide us to make decisions that are pleasing to you and to the citizens that we represent. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Ms. Beverly, will you check us in, please?
Yes, ma'am. Mr. Adele,
Here.
Mr. Vaughn,
Here.
Miss Beverly, here, Miss Georgella, Mr. Lydic,
Present.
and Mr. Naylor.
Here.
All are here, ma'am.
Thank you. First item of business are the minutes from the last meeting of the board. Has everyone here read over them? Any questions, corrections? Do I have a motion?
Motion to adopt?
Second.
The minutes to the last meeting were hereby approved. On our agenda tonight, the first items of business
Excuse
will
me,
be.
Miss Georgella.
I'm
Can I
sorry.
do a roll call on that vote?
Oh,
you. Thank you. Do it. Mr. Adele,
Here.
Mr. Vaughn,
Here.
Miss Beverly,
Here.
Miss Georgella,
yes,
Mr. Lydic,
Here.
Mr. Naylor.
Here.
All approved, ma'am.
I'm gonna leave you out a lot, Beverly. Watch me. We're in a rush. The first items of business will be for the Historic Preservation Agency. We have several items on the agenda tonight. The first is COA 2002 for a certificate of appropriateness in the viewshed buffer of the Lake Isabel Historic Meeting. Is there anyone here to speak to that item?
Carlos Wentz,
Yes.
please come forward to the podium. Once you get there, would you please raise your right hand and look at Mr. Davis. Never, I'm sorry, this is Georgella.
I thought you were gonna do it for me, Dave. Mr. Wentz, do you swear that the information you give us this evening to be truthful? Thank you very much. Would you give your full name and address to Ms. Beverly, please?
Carlos Wentz, 101 Church.
Thanks, Dave. 32025. Thank you, sir.
would you please tell us about your project?
Well, the project I started painting last year was turquoise, blue turquoise and gray. And they tell me I cannot do that. So I changed the colors for gray and white that I want to paint.
That's it?
Yeah, that's it. What I had to do, just change the color.
Just paint your house gray.
Yeah.
Is there anyone else to speak to this item? Being no one else to speak, we close the public section.
I have a comment from Mr. Lentz. The color you've chosen here, this shade of hailstone gray, is that going to be for the entirety of the structure, or is there going to be some differentiation between the?
Between the, I gotta put white and the gray. Yes.
Okay, so it'll be white trim with this gray.
Yes.
Then the public section of this item is closed. Anyone on the board have comments or discussion?
It'll require a
Oh, okay.
motion and a second.
Once again, call roll.
To close.
Once again, call roll.
Make a motion, we close public hearing.
Second.
All in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
Excellent. You all just said aye. You all just said aye.
I'll get you a cheat sheet.
Any discussion among the board?
It's pretty cut and dry. I think this corrects an issue we've had for almost a year with this property.
That's what I want.
This guy painted the property and didn't get approval, is that the issue?
Yes.
Correct.
It is in the real historic district.
I make a motion that we approve as submitted COA 20-02.
Comments?
All in favor? All in favor?
What?
All in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Motion carries.
Motion carried. Okay.
Mr. Wentz, your certificate will be available tomorrow. You can either pick it up or we can mail it to you.
I'll pick it
Okay,
up.
all right, thank you.
Thank you.
You guys are all done. Have a great day.
Okay, then.
That was good. Okay. The next item on the agenda is COA 2021. Is Ms. Genzer here?
Genser, yes.
Okay, Ms. Genzer, would you raise your hand? Do you swear that the information you give this afternoon is truthful?
I do.
Would you give your full name and address to Ms. Beverly, please?
Susan Genzer, 175 Southeast Tucker Street, Lake City, Florida, 32025.
Thank you, ma'am. And if you want to,
I don't know, depends on what you think.
let's go ahead and swear you in as well, just in case.
And you, sir, your name is?
Scott, please.
Okay, Scott, raise your hand. Do you swear the information you give this evening will be truthful?
Got it.
Name and address to Ms. Beverly.
Scott Meeks, 235 Southeast Cherry Place. That's it,
320,
25.
thank you, sir.
Okay, this is a certificate of appropriateness for a residential roof in the Lake Isabel area. Who would like to tell us?
I'll answer.
Okay, just tell us what you're doing.
Well, I had a roof put on and I came up to Miss Beverly and got a certificate of emergency. My roof was leaking. It was during a real rainy period. And Scott and I were co-workers at that time, and he put that roof on for me. And he did it he got a crew in there and did it over a weekend period. And he did a fantastic job. Very pleased with it. Looks nice, no more leaks. We did everything I thought was proper and fine. I remember getting, I think a couple of mails from you, and I admit I do not read everything I get. I thought you were sending me something to come get my permit when I already had it. And I thought, oh, well, and, I'm very busy. I work full-time, raising a grandchild, and just, I don't read everything. And sometimes, what assuming does. But I still don't know what it was. But obviously, it was something I should have read.
It was a notice to come here. It's
I
okay.
know that, obviously, or I would have been here.
If you would, just let them know the roof that you put on and the color, if you have any pictures with you.
It's a natural stainless steel. I wanted, my house is white. It's maybe 1938. Definitely needed a new roof. It looks fantastic.
Yeah,
I think Scott
all
submitted photos and
I submitted
We have-
everything.
Do you have some?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I submitted the neighbor's homes. The color was yellow.
So cut to the chase, you put the roof on, because it was leaking and you didn't get approval. So you're here to get approval after the fact? Is that why you're here?
Well,
yes.
yes.
What the old saying is easier to get approval than it is to get permission.
This is also during the time when Corona first
Right.
came about, and there was 2 meetings that she was supposed to come to, and then they got canceled. So there was some confusion with how we were scheduling
Very
meetings.
confusing.
So it is just formality at this point.
Okay,
Her
And
her
my
roof
bedroom
was,
was leaking.
yeah, her roof was extremely leaking, and growth management issued an emergency permit for the roof to be installed.
gotcha. Okay.
Excellent.
We
Excellent.
did look at it to see that it would meet the criteria, but that's the only reason we issued a emergency permit.
And aren't you addressing how to streamline this so this,
Yes,
we
sir.
avoid this problem in the
Yes, sir.
future?
It's supposed to go before the city council, I believe, the 19th,
Gotcha, okay.
Will that be for first reading or second reading?
first reading, which is just a reading. Second reading is when it's a public hearing. And that'll be February 1st on that. It doesn't affect y'all.
Okay.
Other comments, questions?
I have to say, I was driving around the neighborhood trying to find this target property.
Pizza Hut can't find me.
That
I'm
is a difficult
serious, 2
property to
blocks away.
find.
That's a good thing.
The material that you roofed over, what type of metal roofing was that?
It was roofed over shingles, old shingles.
It was fine. For capital metals here, like I said.
You mean what was under it or
Yeah.
what was here?
Oh, what was under it?
The original material that,
A shame.
asphalt?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah,
Just worn. All the rocks were gone. Very old.
Do I have a motion to close public hearing?
Make a motion to close this hearing.
Second.
All in favor?
Thank you.
Opposed? Good. Oh, that's okay.
Hold
I didn't
hold
read
on.
this, Susan. Hold on.
You did. My mother's old house.
Right next to you. Any further comments?
No, it just sounds like just simple, filing of paperwork.
Do we hear a motion?
Does she know what to do next, since there's been some confusion here?
No, we have to vote first.
What other steps does she need to take?
Well, the roof's already on.
Is the roof
I
already
understand
on?
that.
Yeah.
But is there anything else that she needs to do?
No, once you get the approval, is the approval, that will go to her.
Okay,
And I think we were in the process of doing that. All in favor?
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you, Father.
Thank you. I'll get that mailed out to you as soon as possible, okay?
I will listen.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
The next item on the agenda is COA 2024 by Mr. Biedenbaugh.
34.
2034, sorry. Mr. Biedenbach,
Yes,
will you raise your hand?
yes, sir.
Give your name and address to Ms. Beverly.
My name and address, Kevin Beesball, 232 Northwest Chatty Lane, Lake City, 32055.
Thank you.
And you swear that the information you will provide this evening is true, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, tell us a little bit about your,
Well, we have a customer, I guess, was within the district lines of the historic district. They have an existing asphalt shingle roof that needs to be re-roofed, and they have chosen to go with galvalume, just like this last lady, galvalume silver standard roof on top of the shingle. We're here tonight just to get approval for that, so we can move forward.
is there anyone here? Other comments? There being no other comments, we'll close the public section of this.
I have a question. I understood from here too, also you're taking out the shingles.
Yes, sir. They're not functional anymore, and you might as well just take them on out so you don't have any flashing problems.
Cover it up.
Yes, sir, we'll just take them out. From the inside, it's still like a chimney in there, but from the outside, take the stack down, so we don't have to flash to it.
So if I understand, you'll come flush with the
Yes,
roofing
sir.
line,
Yes, sir.
covering the chimney so that in the future, that feature could be added. The actual firebox itself and the flue will still remain on the historic structure.
The bottom portion will remain on there. Everything from the roof line up will be on. Yes, sir.
So that is a feature that in the future could be restored.
It could be restored if need be. Yes, sir. It's just the way that it's not functional and just flashing back to the old breaking stuff so brittle. And you never ever get it sealed.
You said this had asphalt shingling on it,
It still has asphalt shingles, yes, sir.
which would not have been the original roofing material for the
No, sir.
structure of this vintage.
No, sir, I could have waited a year that was installed. No, sir, it would have been old 5V galvalume metal or something back then, I'm sure.
So this is actually a restorative treatment for this property.
Yes, sir, it'll get back to looking more like the original property, yes, sir.
Very nice.
Other comments or questions? I hear a motion.
Here, motion to close.
Second.
All in favor?
No.
Opposed? Excellent. Comments from the board?
Looks like a good project. I like it. I like seeing the inappropriate asphalt shingle roofs come off and inappropriate metal go back on.
There being no further comments or discussions, do I hear a motion?
Motion to approve as submitted.
A second.
Thank you very much.
The
A vote.
permitting process.
We have to
will take place.
We have to vote, I'm sorry. We have to vote again.
Go ahead.
This is our first hearing with the new chair, so.
This,
Listen, once we say approve, I won't just go. Vote.
Aye.
Aye.
The COA will go into the permitting process, and then I'll mail one to the owner. And then Mr. Young will probably contact you with any questions you have. Okay, thank you.
The next item on the agenda is COA 2035, submitted by Barry Green. Is Mr. Green? Yes. Good evening, Mr. Green. Do you swear that the information you provide this evening will be truthful? Would you please give your full name and address to Ms. Beverly?
Barry Green, 315 Northeast of Lawn Road, Lake City, Florida, 32055.
Thank you, sir.
And your project, can you describe it for us?
I'm asking for, if we put a handicap parking spot, and then leave the rest of the area grass for parking.
And we're gonna see this again on Board of Adjustment when we move forward, right?
Mr. Green, what did the city say about this? Have y'all like checked it over? When, Mr. Davis, Mr. Johnson?
Yes, ma'am, the city looked at it, we have no issues with it. He's trying to bring it into compliance. And to do so, he's gonna have to add a handicap parking spot. But the remainder he would like to have a green area for parking.
Where is this located exactly?
It's 3 blocks east of, this road right here, Victor's and 90. It's the old Studio 57 hair salon, it's back there. That's a little sliver out by the sidewalk.
Oh, okay.
That's by the way to describe it.
Yeah.
I think it was a dog grooming parlor.
That was my wife. She got hurt there and I shut it down.
Shouldn't ask her, what are you gonna do with it now?
Oh, I'm sorry, there's a gentleman that's purchasing it from, he's gonna be a doctor. A doctor's office, he's a psychologist.
We can all use that, right? Absolutely.
In relation to how the property sits on the parcel, I was looking through both your variance application and this one. I don't see a site plan in either of these. Can you describe how this is all going to be configured on the parcel?
I can,
You had the large piece of paper, should have been folded in half.
oh, you talk about the survey?
Yes, sir. The one that you provided for the site plan.
I'm sorry, I thought I gave that to you. I didn't keep a copy of it. The,
The large piece, it might have gotten smaller.
The ramp is on the interior side and the door that enters is on the corner. And you're talking about this will be on the grass lot behind the building?
it's gonna be on the west side of the building.
Yes, correct.
And there's a nice long ramp that goes all the way to the side of the building and then across the.
That's on the south side of the building that circles around to the east side, and the entrance is there.
There is a photograph in it that shows the backside of your building.
Is that this one?
Yeah, you can identify that
Okay.
if that if you like.
That's the. On the other side of the building is a ramp. Around all the-
So the approach for this parking spot would be off of Duval.
There's a nice long.
Okay.
It's already covered.
The pavement.
Apparently, we did have a site plan, but made copies of it, but somehow or another, it didn't get anybody's back. We didn't even find one in our.
It happens.
Yeah.
I'm back to the one that you just handed me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I did look through yours, I looked through mine.
Excellent. Pass it down to the rest of the board.
Richard Cole.
Yes,
Richard Cole's dead.
right.
Yeah, I bought it from Richard.
It was a house. Is there any further discussion?
Move to close public hearing. Second.
All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it.
As far as discussion amongst the board, city had no objections to a pullout right there on Duval, right at that intersection.
No, sir.
That was already existing.
Already one there,
Okay.
so.
Make a motion, we approve, 20-35.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
They'll call you back up for the next motion.
The,
You'll have to adjourn to historic preservation.
yes, I was just going to say. Do I hear a motion to adjourn the Historic Preservation Board?
Move adjournment, historic preservation agency.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Here's the board adjustment. Has everyone had a chance to read the minutes? Last meeting.
Yeah, that was an easy one.
Yes.
Move adoption.
Second.
Next one. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. The first item on the agenda is B 2007, submitted by Mr. Caldwell.
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is,
Well, that's right. Mr. Caldwell, do you swear that the information you provide this evening is true?
this one,
Very much. Would you please give your name and address to Ms. Beverly?
Jesse Caldwell, Jr.
Come to the desk.
Over recording.
But the keeping matters that we try to do.
Didn't touch any of that. That's great.
We are without mics.
It's recording on the computer though, so it won't miss the recording.
All right, everyone talk loud.
He'll be back. That's back.
Did we do this?
Jesse Caldwell, Jr.
Thank you, sir.
Can you describe to us what you planned for this project?
Well, I had to come up here and ask the board's approval. I have purchased, matter of fact, I was here in 2010. I had purchased a mobile home for my sister. And I needed approval from the board to hook her up to the city utilities. And I was approved. And I've been blessed to purchase a home for my brother, my baby brother. And I brought pictures. And all I'm needing now is, I have the meter that's been put in, everything except city service. And I brought the pictures of both of the homes. And I'm ready to get it hooked up to the city.
Madam Chair,
Yes,
first petition, the variance. He actually has two petitions tonight, special exception to follow this one for the standard design mobile home. This particular petition is requesting a variance from the minimum lot requirement of 6,000 feet. The current lot he has is 5,186 square feet. And also the setback on one side is shorter than the other. So we're requesting, or Mr. Caldwell is requesting that the home be allowed there with that variance.
And the one that with the reindeers in the front, that's the one that I had approved 2010. The other mobile home is the one I just purchased last year. That's for my baby brother. And all my fees have been paid. I paid management. Whatever fees had to be paid, I paid.
so the mobile home has already been moved onto the lot.
Yes, ma'am.
Does the city have a problem with any of this, David?
No, ma'am, we don't. Not for that area.
I appreciate it.
Lot size is like 800 square feet less than what's required. The setback on one side, I believe, is 3 feet and not 5 feet. So we would not have a problem.
And I noticed that you said it butts up to the family property.
Yes,
Is that
we
correct?
had that property for 60 years almost. It's all the same.
Any further discussions? Anyone else? Do I hear a motion to post? I did. Is there a motion to post public hearing?
Motion, so moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Does the board have any further discussions?
Mr. Young, this is multiple parcels, but all the same owner for the land.
Yes,
And it's a variance on the setback requirements. And this individual owns both parcels that would be affected by it.
correct.
If the land is owned, one owner, does the city do individual metering to the homes located on that property?
Yes, there are individual tabs that are made.
Separate utilities, separate.
Yeah, I've got two on my property. Carriage House has its own address.
You're kidding.
Carriage house.
Yeah. That's his party house.
Where they have the livestock.
There being no further discussion, do I hear a motion to approve?
Make a motion, we approve.
Second.
All in favor? Opposed? Okay, Mr. Caldwell, we've approved step one. Now on to step two. You have a second petition, SE 2008, to request a special exception for allowance of a standard design home in residential area.
And this is the single wide mobile home, right, and right next to the other single wide
Yes.
mobile home that you already put there, like a
Yes.
couple of years ago.
That's correct.
there's already one of these present on the property.
In the photographs,
Yes, the one with
the
the.
photograph with the deer is the old one that has pre-approved. And the one without the deer is the new one. It's already sitting on the property now.
Copy that.
Further discussion? If not, can I have a motion to close the public hearing on this?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Mr. Young, would you be so kind as to refresh our memories regarding the difference between the standard design and the other design mobile home requirements in our LDRs?
A standard design is like a flat roof, the old mobile home style. The residential design is a 2-to-1 pitch roof, as the siding is equal to the siding that's used in normal construction, whether it be
So even though
vinyl.
So even though by the LDRs, we've kind of stepped away from the notion of the standard design manufactured home in city limits, there is one already on this property in question.
Yes, sir, and it is, in this zoning, it is listed as a special exception that a residential style a standard design can be installed with a special exception.
Very nice.
They are owned by the same family, separate parcel.
Correct.
Yeah.
$1 for the firefighters retirement fund.
Is there further discussion?
No, that's satisfactorily answered my questions.
Great. May I have a motion?
Move approval.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Everything on this issue? Is approved. Thank you very much.
And I'd like to say thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Mr. Caldwell, have the mobile home installer follow the process. I'll take care.
The next item on the agenda is petition B 2008. Mr. Green, I think you're.
Mr. Green? No.
No,
No.
I believe that's going to be
So
taken.
Maggie Schultz and Amanda Hessen,
Oh, okay,
that's online.
okay.
And what?
Correct.
Where are they?
We have Amanda on Zoom.
Yes, if y'all would raise your right hand. Do y'all swear that the testimony you're about to give is the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
I see head nodding, but I don't hear them.
I heard her. She said yes.
Okay,
I'll try to turn it up.
all right.
It's all the way up.
Thank you.
Ms. Schultz, will you give us some information about your petition, please?
Sure. And my name is Amanda Hessen. We have submitted a special exception on behalf of Bob Evans Restaurants LLC, doing business as Bob Evans Restaurant 228. They are seeking a 2COP alcoholic beverage license, which would permit the consumption of beer and wine only for consumption on and off premises. They are currently operating a restaurant where they are exceeding 51% gross revenue sales in the sales of food and non-alcoholic beverages. And they have decided to sell beer and wine as well.
Anyone else to speak to this petition?
I do not believe so. It is just me.
Okay. Does the board have any questions?
I do have one question. Just out of curiosity, what beer goes best with pancakes over there at the Bob Evans?
To say a good light IPA.
I have one question. You said beer and wine on site are to go.
I'm
Can I
sorry.
buy beer to take out there?
I'm sorry, I didn't catch the beginning of your question. Do you mind repeating?
You had earlier said that it was for beer and wine to be consumed on site or to go. So I can go buy beer to go there?
Right, so we've advised them to only allow beer sales with the purchase of food, but the 2 COP license, as it's defined by the Department of Business and Professional Regulation, does allow to go as well, as long as it is not prohibited by a local ordinance.
Does that require that it be bottled or in an open glass?
Oh, it has to be bottled, of course. It cannot be brought off premises in an open bottle. That would be considered open container.
The best way to define it is it can either be consumed on premise or off premise.
Right, right.
Right.
You sit in the parking lot, eat my pancakes and
I'm thinking about some blueberry schnapps pancakes.
I'm in.
Is there further discussions on this agenda item?
No, the sky's the limit on this one. I'm satisfied.
Motion to close the public portion of this?
So moved.
Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Further discussion by the board? There being no further discussion,
Cut and dried.
do I have a motion?
I make a motion, we approve SC 20-09 as submitted.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? There being a full vote, it is approved.
Huzzah.
Beer discounts.
Send me some of that schnapps.
So, thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Just think soon we may be able to get beer and wine in McDonald's.
Chipotle to do beer out their drive-through window.
Yeah.
A sack of burritos and some ice cold hand tools. Yeah, this town's moving up in the world.
Does the Cracker Barrel have beer and wine also?
Yes, they do.
They do.
Amazing, amazing.
We're all moving to it.
Yeah. With COVID, we all need it. Okay, next item on the agenda is petition B 2008. Now, Mr. Green. Sorry, I made you stand up here. Swear in again.
Yes.
Okay. Do you swear that the information you provide is true and correct?
Green, 315 Northeast Triple River, Lake City, Florida, 32055.
Thank you.
Could you tell us a little bit about your project again?
This part of it, I guess, is for actually the slab for the handicap being concrete and some asphalt and leave the rest glass.
No, I'm sorry, this is for you to allow just the grass portion for the other parking.
Oh, sorry.
Yes, sir.
I'm glad she's doing that for me.
I wanted her to sit next to me tonight, but she wouldn't.
She'll help.
Any discussion?
Not for the proponent.
Motion to close public portion.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Public portion is closed.
Mr. Young, looking at the staff analysis here, I see the structure is listed as having been built in '94. This is a cut down version of a much older structure that
It got
predated
cut,
that.
they got cut drastically when they widened the road. So that's the year that
Is that the new construction date based on when they cut the structure?
Yes.
For the purposes of the fact that it resides within the view shed of the historic district fund, is there any way we can get that number formally changed in the city databases to what it should be?
That's
Well,
on the property
That's from the
appraiser.
property appraiser.
Oh, county. Okay. I withdraw my comment.
You can't be in conflict.
That error is not on our side of the house.
Any further discussion on this petition?
Give him his driveway.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Thank you.
Oh.
I saw a hand moving
Sneaking in an objection at the last moment.
Petition B 2008 is
I'll send you this POA and, just move forward with the rest of it. Thank you. Have a good drive. Oh, wow. Well.
Where in?
it's pretty shifty.
Yep.
Yeah.
Same with that overlap.
Call the law.
Will you raise your right hand? Do you swear the information you provide this afternoon will be true?
Yes, I do.
Would you like to give your name and address to Ms. Beverly?
David Young, 205 North Marion Avenue, 2055.
Thank you, sir.
Describe to us the project.
Okay, the first one, petition SA 2010, this is the property where the new fire station is going to go. By the land development regulations, a government building is a special exception in the zone. So we are here to request a special exception for us to be able to place the new fire station. Y'all will be reviewing the new fire station under a site plan when the plans are developed. We're just trying to move everything along.
As an individual who fights fire from time to time, I do have to ask this question. Will there be a large grass pole in this building somewhere?
No, sir. There'll be a large aluminum one out front, with a flag on it.
But no fun pole to slide down.
No, sir.
What is this world coming to?
OSHA put a stop to those.
I thought you wanted to dance.
Ooh, no, not one of those. That is definitely not zoned for that. Just in general, I know we're not at the site plan phase, but are we talking like a 4-bay, a 3-bay?
I believe it's going, the last plans that I saw, preliminary plans, were 2-bay. And then the housing, I think it's gonna be for, I believe, 4 individuals. And,
2-bay stacked double D?
no, it's gonna be 2 separate bays.
No, but I mean, will they be open up to accommodate 2 vehicles per bay?
Yes, because, I mean, possibly, because you're gonna put a fire truck in one, and you can put a brush truck in another command vehicle or whatever in the other.
Who determines the size and the number of vehicles and
That is, NFPA determines they have minimum standards that it has to be built to.
just think of their coverage? You know,
Anything will be an improvement.
Well,
Yeah, that's true.
This will improve the response time on the west side of I-75. They will not have to go through the I-75, US 90 interchange right there. They'll be covering that in mostly. They will come to help the other side, but the main fire station downtown has a response time of less than, I believe it's less than 30 minutes to get to 75. Now, the response time on the other side of 75, because of the traffic and everything there at 75 and 90 is just horrendous.
Well, it's comforting to know when Karen sets off the smoke alarm, she's trying to barbecue in the oven.
But this will also make it possible for the Lake City Fire Department to become a Class 2 or a Class 3, which will lower insurance rates.
And that's on the ISO rating.
Yes.
I like money.
Further discussion?
Deeply saddened by the lack of a sliding pole.
Well, we can do a horizontal.
Do I hear a motion to close public hearing?
Motion to close public hearing.
Second.
Any further discussion from the board? Do I hear a motion to get a new fire station?
I make a motion, we get a new fire station.
Second.
And the pole.
All approved?
Yay.
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We now have approved a new fire station. And Mr. Young, you have a second one here. You're looking for a new home.
Yes, ma'am.
And you now have my complete and undivided attention.
This is special exception 20-11. Again, well, it's not again, but this is for the location of the new city hall on the lots that the hospital has deeded back over to the city, which is right there where the arch is for the hospital going off of Marion. It's right in that, those like 4 city lots right there that now belong to us.
Right side, left side of the.
Right side.
If you're going north, it'll be on the right side.
I'm going toward the old hospital. Where is it?
Yes.
It is the entire city block surrounded by Fernando, Marion, and Franklin.
Across from that old Cadillac dealership.
Across from the old power dealership.
We will actually be facing Marion Street, so we can keep it on a Marion Street address.
And because
And again, it's because of the zoning, all zonings in our land development regulations, government buildings require special exceptions. So we're here requesting the special exception. The design of the building is still in flux. Every time I talk to Steve Roberts, he's showing me a different blue sky on it.
And I sincerely assume that prior to settling on any such design, a COA will be gathered for.
They are well aware of the COA requirements. I believe that the open merger has sat down with you.
Yeah, we had
When you were chairman to discuss with you on it. And get your knowledge.
got just about all the historic photos of all
Yeah.
the old birds that have come down over the years.
So, we're all well aware of it, but we're also fighting. So we're playing, trying to see what can be done for the amount of money that we have for it.
And is the city still going with a design build style of contracting?
Yes, it's a cheaper version of doing it. It's makes the contractor responsible.
Yeah.
And he has to provide the deadlines and everything.
So you mean it will not look like a baby ranch?
I hope not.
But more importantly, it won't look like a prefab metal building like that Dollar General that's snuck into the historic district. And it will not have a parking lot in the front on Marion. It'll be up on the sidewalk. Talking with some fellows in the construction biz, and I passed some of this information along to the city manager. Ultimately, you only see about a 5% increase in the overall price tag of the project to facade something to look like it's been there for years.
Yeah. And that's what they're looking at, but we're playing around with whether it's 2 buildings one building. We got one version that I've seen where it's one building and we're all inside of it. There's another one where it's two buildings. The customer service is out in a little building and also growth management. Their drive-through is there. And then the bigger building is for the rest of the departments and the council chambers.
Just advising the city on what to build and how big it should be.
We are talking, well, we went with an architect who canvassed everybody that works, all the directors, everybody else on what their needs are. Then he came up with I call it blue sky, where he made a drawing and he says, okay, growth management gets this many square feet. These people get, this department gets this many square feet. We talked to them about the need for offices, the need for counters, to keep the public away from what we had downstairs before we were able to shut the door, modify one of the doors and shut them to where we could separate ourselves from people.
Was there a security discussion about the employees in the one building, public coming in and out of the other building, the part of it?
No, sir. You're still going to get the same amount of foot traffic through, really, in both buildings. Because they're always going to go into the big building. Oh, I'm not sure. I need to go over there. You know how that works.
This is something we're seeing at the federal level, at the U.S. Forest Service. We're having to scrap a lot of our building plans right now based on one, economic factors, but also we're literally going back to the drawing board on projects that were in process to have to enlarge and modify to take into account that for the coming years, we may be living in a public health emergency type situation, and what used to be cram as many people into as small of cubicles as physically possible to save on square footage. The pendulum's now swinging another way on the federal level. Have these plans been updated or amended for a post-COVID world to take into account additional distancing requirements?
Yes and no.
Yes and no.
Yes. We're having we will have separation, but only at the time we're required to. So that means we might have 3 desks here, and we might have to do away with 1 desk to get the distancing requirement.
I think your question tells you need a bigger building.
Yeah.
It's a bigger building.
Has the building gotten bigger since the project was first conceived based on public health?
No. We are, like I said, we are on a budget that we cannot expand on. We've got this amount of money and that's it.
And you're saying federal level, they're going to change it anytime, so.
So, we've got, we'll say $4 million to build it, not a dime more.
That may be interesting.
Yeah, so if there's a change, that's like when we get the, was it like 30% drawings and the contractor then takes over for the design build. Okay, he has chosen to build this at this price and he's got his subs on board.
Yep.
Now, anything we change, he can now jack up the price.
Change
Change
orders.
orders.
Yep, that's what they're hoping for. Well, we're not gonna do any change orders. So if he runs across something he missed, that's his done.
Yeah, I think he's mentioned on a
Yeah.
federal level or a state level, they require you to change it. You may not want to change your
Yeah.
budget or can't change it, but then you're gonna have to. It's like the class reduction size in schools. Things are
We were
gonna
about
change.
to have a brand new ranger station and COVID came along and they said, nope, we have to totally scrap this plan. This is not gonna work cramming that many people into a bullpen like that.
Get used to it.
Well, it does work, but.
Sounds like we're at the early stages of this.
Yeah. We're just requesting that we get a special exception on it, so we're able to proceed. And again, all the drawings will be coming out under site plan review for y'all. Y'all be reviewing the drawings when they come in.
Further discussion?
Are we still in public hearing?
Yes.
Motion to close the public hearing?
Second,
All in favor? Opposed? Public hearing is closed.
Madam Chairwoman.
Yes.
Do you think it would be appropriate to appoint a member of this board that also collaterally serves as the Historic Preservation Authority to
You're
sit
looking for
in?
another job?
No, just to sit in with the city team that's working on this so that the board at least has, some working knowledge of what's going on as far as what's gonna get plopped on that lot.
Wouldn't that be a city council issue? That's not something we approve here.
No, I'm just saying, since we are the Historic Preservation Board, we're gonna have to look at this COA at some point in the future anyway. It's smart to have a person in the room helping to guide certain decision-making.
I welcome your attendance, but I don't know if we can.
But that would have to go through city council.
That's right.
For that. I mean, there's no issue. I'd be happy to take it before city council.
I think it'd be a good idea to have someone from the Historic Preservation Board sitting in on the design team.
All right.
I mean, they don't have to have any authority, but at least someone sitting in the rooms when those conversations are happening that can bring that aspect of this project to life when it starts getting forgotten about. They can save a lot of headaches.
That it will.
As I say, so noted.
So noted.
So, are we ready for a motion then?
I'm ready for a motion.
Okay,
Do you know what you're moving for?
yeah, for the special exception for SE 20-11.
second,
All in favor? Opposed? The ayes have it.
Make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I thought you were going to make a motion.
I can't do that.
You can't do what?
I guess I could.
You want?
I could. I'll make a motion to adjourn the meeting, I guess.
Yes, there you go.
Second, by Erwin.
We're adjourned.
All right, Joe.